everybody, welcome to an episode here that I'm calling The Making of Permission, my 2021 Geocaching International Film Festival submission. A lot of thought and time went into making of this 4-minute movie. I think it was around April 2020, right when COVID hit and everything, and working from home. I was looking up online movie locations of where they filmed The Truman Show, because as you know, when I was down in Florida in 2019, went down there and we filmed a geocaching episode at some the locations that were used for the Truman Show. What I did is I went online to Google, looked up some spots, Truman Show film locations, and then bam, found more spots that we should have filmed at, but unfortunately didn't because I didn't do that beforehand. After looking those things up, I thought of my favorite horror movie. In fact, I'm not a big fan of horror movies. I just don't like them. But this movie here, I exceptionally love it. It's really cool. It's great. The cinematography to it, the acting, the story. It's not a slasher movie. It has a nice plot and story to it. There's a big puzzle that has to be solved before 7 days is up. That's right, I'm talking about the movie The Ring. When the movie came out in 2002, and I was watching it in the movie theaters with my wife, I was surprised at some of the locations. It's like, I know where that bridge is that they show where Rachel's driving across the bridge. That's on Deception Pass. There's also some scenes that they filmed in downtown Seattle. I've been there, I know those locations, and I thought it was really, really cool. But after I was looking up this stuff for The Truman Show, I typed in The Ring movie locations. Wanted to see what else is maybe filmed in the area. And to my surprise, I found out that the cabin actually exists. And I will be talking about that place here in a minute. And then there is also the ranch scene. That was filmed out in Monroe. That's 20 minutes from here. So I was really stoked about these places. It's sweet, these places are close by. I know where these are. I could go out and look at them. I looked them up online and I found the locations. And then I went on to YouTube and I looked up the cabin. I went and looked up some of the cabin videos that people had posted of them walking around the cabin. They were out there on the property. They were walking around it. And I was like, sweet. If these people could go out there and film this, I want to film something out there too. And then I thought of a submission for the Geocaching International Film Festival, which didn't happen in 2020, of course, because of COVID. But I thought maybe I can go out there, film some stuff, and then when they do have another GIFF, I can just implement that into the movie, and boom, done. Looked up the location for the cabin, and on the Saturday, packed up my wife and kid, and grabbed all my camera gear and stuff, and the kid's ring costume. Samara, she's played that role so many times over the past dozen years or so here. She's dressed as Samara for some Loot Crate videos that I shot. She's dressed out costume for some Emerald City Comic Cons we've been to, for the Snag the Tag zombie videos that we did. She dressed up as that and hid tags, and I filmed her walking through a location to hide the tag, and then you had to watch the video, follow the steps she took to where she drops off the tag, and then that's where you find the tag. So she's pretty familiar with that. I had storyboarded out what I wanted to have happen at the Ring cabin. Because I don't know if you remember from the Ring, the cabin's there. There's that hillside where the horses are. That stuff's actually there. It's there at the location. So I planned out the hillside where he's looking at the hillside and stuff, and then he's hiding the cache at the cabin here. So again, I had everything all planned out. Got the family all loaded up in the car, costumes ready, camera gear and everything ready. And then we went out to the location. Drove up and down the street there. Couldn't find a way to walk out to it, so I found this kind of parking spot kind of down in the back of the country road. And there was somebody parked there with their little ATV and everything. So we pulled up next to them and I asked them, hey, is the ring cabin up over that hill there? And the person was like, yes, that's where they filmed the ring. The cabin is there, and it's private property. Don't go out there. Dream was crushed and broken right there. I was like, but people have filmed videos of them out there walking around the cabin, and they were like checking the place out and everything. And that's because they broke the law. They went out there. They were trespassing. They got onto private property. They screwed up. They shouldn't have done that. So, again, dream was crushed right there. Managed to find a location of the property owner there, and I got his phone number and everything. We came home, and I made some calls to him and everything there, saying like, hey, could we go out there and film a geocaching movie here? And he was pretty adamant on it. He's saying no, private property, stay away. So people, if you're watching this here and you want to go see the ring cabin, don't. It's on private property. Don't go out there. But I got to know the person. I talked with the property owner there. It got to be on a good basis with him. And something came up and he needed some help with some drone footage and stuff like that. And I volunteered, hey, I'll go out there and help you. I'll film the cabin there for you. Now, during this time, the ranch location out in Monroe, now that's private property and stuff too. And I got to know the person who's renting the house at the ranch location. He and I became pretty good friends too. So he's living at this location, the ranch, and he's a big fan of the ring too. He's got a shrine in his house there of ring movie props and memorabilia and everything. I got to know him, and my wife and my child and I, we went out to the location and we took some pictures and things there. He led us on the property there. We had a great time getting to know him and checking out the property and everything. And then when I was talking with the owner at the cabin, he was saying that he needed some help with a project, and I volunteered to help out. And then I said, hey, could I bring Jess, the guy who lives at the ring ranch out there? I brought my friend Jess who lives at the ring ranch out to the location where the ring cabin is, and we got to spend a day there at the cabin with my daughter and talking with the owner there, his experiences with the movie The Ring. And it was fun listening to those two talk back and forth about their experiences with everything, because Jess lives at the ranch, and other guy, he owns the property there for the cabin, which is, again, private property. Don't go out there. So we were out there. I filmed some stuff there for him, and then again asked, hey, could we film a geocaching movie out there? And he's like, no. So tried a couple times there, and I figured, okay, just don't push it any further or anything. But then I started thinking, I've got this idea for the GIFF where the guy tries to hide a cache at the ring cabin and everything. What can I do here to make this become a reality? Well, I eventually asked Jess, the guy who lives at the ring ranch, like, hey, could we film the opening scene there instead? Can we film on the property? And said, okay, yeah, you can go ahead and do it, but you have to stay away from the barn. Don't go in the barn because the loft is up in there. Remember that from the movie that was where Samara stayed, up in the barn? That's actually there. But he didn't want anything filmed in there because somebody could hurt themselves, etc. I completely understand. So we kept our scenes set for outside. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go over what I had planned with the script here. Of the original script, basically, it kind of starts off with a guy walking to the camera there. He has the hillside behind him where like the horses were in the ring. He looks back at the hill there, and then turns around, continues walking, walks up to the cabin. He goes up to the cabin there, puts the cache down, and then he's getting the coordinates for the cache location. And then the girl appears behind him. He turns around and looks, and then, there's nobody there. So he's like, okay, whatever. Then turns around, and then the girl pops up at the location where he was hiding the cache. Kind of like what happened in the GIFF movie here, the completed scene. And then they have basically the same type of conversation. Did you get permission to hide this here? Well, no, I didn't. And, again, this is all about permission. We didn't have permission to film at the cabin, so it wasn't filmed there. So they basically just have the banter back and forth. Well, you need to get the permission before you hide a geocache. And permission, what do you mean permission? Well, you have to get permission before you hide a cache on somebody's property or in a park. And you need to get it within, 6.5 days or 6 days. Actually, we say 6 days here, but I changed it up to 6.5 days. And he's like, no, why just 6 days? And then, she says, because 7 is copyrighted, because, 7 days in the ring, if you don't solve the problem, you die from the curse in 7 days. So then she attacks him there. And then it kind of just follows along with the way that the movie goes. Wakes up in bed. He's saying, like, wow, I guess I better get permission there. And then I was originally going to have it end at the ranch. Basically, he's walking down across the bridge there, walks like past the barn. I even had it kind of planned out to where the scene where the guy was like hammering the nail in the fence, and where Rachel pops up behind him there. I was going to have something like that where somebody's out there hammering a nail in there, and the cacher walks by and waves like, hey, I got the cache, thank you. Thanks for letting me hide it here on the trails next to your property, but that didn't work out. So then, he drops the cache down next to a well, and I had the well planned out at this location at Brightwater Park, where I have my adventure lab set up and where we've done caching before. A lot of my park videos that I've shot where I'm talking about things or doing unboxing videos have been filmed at that park. So then what I was originally going to have happen here was he puts the cache down, the ammo container down, and then as he walks away, Samara pops up from behind the well, or the ghost girl, I should say. She opens up the cache container, and then she signs it. She's like the first to find it, and she's like, yeah. And then, fade to black. So there she is getting all happy because she's first to find on the cache before it was even posted. You naughty ghost girl, that's not the way you do caching. But again, since we couldn't have a permission to go hide the cache out at the cabin, I asked Jess about could we film the opening scene there, and he was like, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. So we set the opening scene there, Act 1, and then I just reused the scene from when we shot it when we were there for the beginning of Act 3, I guess you could say, where he's actually going out to hide the cache. So that's what I had originally planned for the story there. Now, what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and show the movie, and as I'm playing through it, I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the scenes that I had set up and some of the hidden background stuff that you probably might not have noticed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play it here. I'll probably have this as I pop up in a window somewhere. So here we go. Okay, now I had set this up, I was trying to match up shot for shot. So when you're watching this, if you're familiar with the movie The Ring, a lot of these shots will make sense. Such as the part where Rachel is walking across the bridge. Well, there I am at the bridge, looking over the property. Nice little transition there. This is a shot for shot of Rachel. She was like walking to the ranch. I just did this shot out of the blue. This wasn't a shot for shot scene. Nice horse. Now, the horse in the movie The Ring, I think that horse had passed away a little bit ago, but it was a black horse. This horse was all black, and I thought when I was there filming, I was like, is this the same horse? He's like, no, this is a different horse. But I think it's kind of cool because black horse, like the black horse from the movie The Ring, from the ferry boat scene. Warning, trespassers will die in 7 days. This is actually on the property. Now, the barn is right back here, but I should have got like a shot up of the barn as I like walked past it, but I was kind of in a hurry because the scenes here that I filmed at the ranch, we got this all done in like in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We were there like at 10 and got done by 12:30 or so. So we got the first portion here filmed pretty quick. Now it's funny because we filmed this portion second. The ending portion was filmed first, like back in May of this year, but these were filmed like I think June. Horse. Now this is a shot for shot from where Rachel's walking up. Theirs is a little bit more off to the side over here, looking up as she's walking past, but this tree here grew in the many years since the movie was filmed out there, so you can't get that same shot without having the tree and stuff in the way, so we changed it off just a little bit. This is another shot for shot right here where she's walking around before she goes into the ranch. And they actually have a fire pit. That's a fire pit that they put in there. My friend put the fire pit there.
I'm going to get the coordinates so I can hide the cache next to this well.
It's really cool because it looks like the well. Now, a little transition shot there. She pops up from behind and pulling back. I was originally wanting her to kind of speak in a more scary voice like this, like, "Did you get permission to hide the geocache?" Something like that, but she didn't want to do it. She just wanted to use her own voice, and I kind of wanted the wig to be opened a little bit so you see this side of her face, kind of like in the movie The Ring, where you see a portion of Samira's face. You see her eye and her cheek and her jaw. But she was just like, "No, I just want the hair all over my face." I kind of didn't want it, but as she started speaking, it's funny because when she pronounces the words with P, like permission, you'll see the hair blowing from her breath, and it kind of adds a comedic feel to it. So after watching this, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of funny. So I'm kind of glad she had it that way because it makes it more funny. Just watch when she speaks.
What are you doing here?
I'm hiding a geocache.
Did you get permission to hide that geocache?
Permission? What do you mean permission?
You need to get permission to hide a cache in private property or in a park. You didn't ask for permission, and the homeowner is angry.
Ah.
Now, shot for shot right here from the cursed tape, you'll see that there is like that window scene where Mr. Morgan is in the window. Same shot. What we had to do here is have the windows open because I had the windows closed and I had my friend Jess, that's Jess right there, when he was behind the windows trying to go like, no, 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 no. You couldn't see him because the reflection off of the glass, because in the movie when they filmed it, they used non-reflective glass. But here, it's regular glass, it was reflective, so he opened up the windows there to do this scene. And thank you, Jess, for the acting here. You did good.
You need to get permission within 6.5 days.
Okay, now, this scene here I had to film twice. Once with the camera over my shoulder, then I moved the camera around behind her shoulder to film the angle on me. So we did this couple takes with the camera behind me and then the camera behind her. It was only just the two of us out there filming.
6.5 days? Why 6.5 days?
Because 7 is copyrighted.
Okay, now, 6.5 days, kind of just making fun of the whole 7 days thing from the movie The Ring, because, again, if you watched the curse tape, you had 7 days to live. And if you solved the problem, were able to find a solution to keep the curse from happening, then you live. But if you didn't, well, you died in 7 days. And then that whole transition scene with like the static and the images that are popping up, kind of another parody aspect of The Ring, to where they would do these quick jump cut things that would just like last a second. They would show all these like clips and scenes from the curse tape and other things. So I just kind of threw a bunch of just random silly pictures in there of the TV static, and I put in the weird screeching sound that I found online somewhere. Now this scene here where I wake up and I'm sweating, that is actual sweat, because this was filmed in June, the end of June, when we had our heat wave going on here in the Puget Sound area. I don't know if you're familiar with that or know of that, but usually in June we have temperatures where it's like maybe 60 degrees to maybe 70 degrees. It got up to like 90 and 100 degrees in June. It doesn't do that here, but it's a weird weather phenomenon that happened. And I mean, seriously, swear to goodness, we were sweating in June. We shouldn't get weather like this until maybe middle August or something like that. So when I wake up here and I'm drenched in sweat, it's because I set up the camera and everything, just getting stuff ready to film at like 8:30, and just perspiring. It was a sweaty mess. Me wiping the sweat off my face.
Guess it was just
But it makes it look good, like I actually had like a nightmare, like perspiring. Now the clock here says 11:34. If you turn that upside down, you get H-E-L-L. You get hell. 11:34 is hell. Didn't notice that, did you?
Dear Mr. Rodman, thank you.
Okay, now I say here, Dear Mr. Rogman, which is an anagram of Mr. Morgan. Morgan was the owner of the ranch in the movie The Ring. I switched up the letters, came up with Rogman. Reused the scene here, or the shots that I used here from the opening scenes, because this is where I was wanting to be like walking by and then do the shot of us with the guy hammering in the field. But just couldn't do that portion here with us. He had stuff that was going on. He couldn't do that, so I just reused this opening stuff.
Thank you so much for giving me permission to place my new geocache hide on the trails outside your farm. Geocaching is a great way
It's a beautiful ranch.
explore new areas that they've never been to before, even if it's really close to where they live.
This is out of Brightwater.
Are beautiful, and I know cachers will enjoy seeing
Filmed a lot of stuff out here. It's a beautiful
In
park.
case there's any trouble,
I have an adventure lab there.
please let me know
10 stages.
so I can take care of it. If it comes down to it, I can even archive the cache if needed.
There's this well that I found out there.
Contact me in any way, shape, or form regarding this geocache. Thanks again.
Okay. In my 2019 Geocaching International Film Festival movie, the horror movie trailer that I made, we filmed the ending portion out at Brightwater Park. This is the same location where my daughter finds the nano container, and the nano in the woods. So basically, what this is this is tying in together with that movie, where he is the hider of that cache that brings us out there in the first movie that I did. So I kind of tied it together. So basically, I'm hiding the cache for us to find, which is kind of weird if you think about it like that. But think of it as like two different people. I had to match up with the same nano. I still have that nano here. In fact, it's like right here. This is the nano. So I had to find a leaf that looks similar to the one that I had used in that 2019 film. Same hiding spot where she finds it and picks it up. This is not the same spot that I just filmed right there, right turn around. At different locations. I had to go back out and reshoot this scene like a couple days later because what I had filmed there didn't come out good. I wanted a more of a close-up shot here, so I had to go back out to the park, find a different spot, and film this like 3 seconds here so I can have an overlay to use the voiceover from the prior thing that I filmed.
I've got to activate this cache. Everybody loves nanos.
So if you look at the background, the list of shots are different. And then there's the ghost girl, my daughter again, popping up. The screen is fading to the washed out colors there, the greenish blue. And so basically, and I was trying to also use the same color palette from the movie The Ring, because everything in that movie, if you notice, is green. You know, and also soft light. Nothing has harsh shadows. I was trying to get all that stuff in this here as well, too. You'll see that the scene where he walks away, if you pay attention to it there, it all kind of transitions to that greenish color. And then closes in on her, and then she kind of walks off. Because again, I was wanting her to be the person to find the cache, but when I was getting all this stuff ready to go, I thought, well, instead of having him hide the cache and just walk away and have her sign it, why not have her try and go after him because he did something stupid, such as putting a nano in the woods. So that's why she pops up, and she like shakes her head and like, no, and kind of face palms, and then goes out and goes after me, and who knows what happens then. So there we go. Breakdown of what went into making this movie here. And then I have the static effect here because of the movie The Ring with the VHS tape. I used 3 cameras to film this. I used the Canon 70D for the shot looking up at us when the girl is coming up out of the well at the ranch. I used that there, then overlaid scenes and fixed it in After Effects. I used my DJI Osmo Pocket 2 for the scene where walking up to the well, and then when the ghost girl is popping up behind him and the camera pulls around and then goes back to go to like a wide shot showing him next to the well, and like nobody there. You know, that was filmed with that, and also the ending portion there where just as I walk away, because that was being filmed with my Sony camera, and then kind of matched up the shot with the DJI because it's for like smoother shooting. It's not bouncy. So I used that to walk up to my daughter there and do the scene where she kind of does her face palm and raises her arms and goes off and gets me. Main camera I use is my Sony CX900, which I've used religiously as my main camera here for like quite a long time. I have some, you know, a lot of my earlier geocaching videos were filmed with it there. So yeah, so there we go. Went over the storyboard, the history behind it, trying to get to the scenes and the shots and everything there, matching up the shots there for shot for shot for what we trying to match with what was going on with the movie The Ring and the gear and stuff. So yeah, these movies can take a lot of time and, and a lot of thought to put something like that together there. So I was really surprised with some of the GIFF movies. They were really well done. The Signal School, I know that one there probably took maybe 2 to 3 times as long or longer to film and create and put together compared to what some of the other people had put together, because you know trying to get like all those toys and things lined up and the camera movement to get all the puppets to do their thing and the stuffed animals to do their thing. Amazing. Good job with that there. But yeah, a lot of good movies this year in the 2021 GIFF. And I know I'm kind of rambling there, but you know, here's what I went through to make this finalist video for you all to enjoy. So, hope you all learned something and had fun. Thanks for watching, and hey, who knows what I will be making for the next GIFF. Until then, cash on.